Sweet. And so oh,
Well,
okay.
that's not Keith.
One,
That's not Keith because that's Ruby Am on the. We haven't seen Ruby Am yet,
yeah, we
so that
haven't seen
might not
Ruby
be
M
Keith.
yet, so maybe it's not the right table. We'll get confirmation
Okay.
from Dan in a moment.
Okay.
But yes, in the meantime, it's going to be Ruby Amethyst versus Emerald Amethyst, which of course, as we know, has been somewhat popular. Not as popular as say an Amethyst Steel or even a Ruby Sapphire in this tournament. However, it's been doing pretty well. It's got some good showings. JDZ.
Absolutely, and it's not just a traditional Amethyst Emerald that you're used to. I like. What do you think about this deck as an Emerald Amethyst OG player? I know you like this color combination a lot. I want to ask you, what do you think about this new version with the Diablos and all the birds and all the aviation type stuff? Is that your new bag?
So
Are you playing that, or are you still on the tempo version?
no, I'm on this version right now. Like I'm testing this out, and I have to say it feels really good. The Diablo shift feels way more consistent to
Mm-hmm.
happen than in anything, including like Emerald Steel. Not only that, but I've seen some of these versions rocking that Peter Pan and that Iago. That is a power move. You know, like people are expecting Red to drop a Maui on you
Mm-hmm.
when that spectral parrot shows up and just takes out something and it still
Yeah.
survives. It takes out a Sisu and survives the
Yeah.
Sisu. It's insane.
Tanking.
There's
It's a
nothing
it is
like it.
that is an absolute tank of a play, and it comes out at 4,
Yeah,
so it's clearing most threats at that timeline. And also, it's got that 6, so it's going to resist, and maybe it can take out another thing and still survive again. It is that
yeah,
vanish, so it can't get cleared quite easily. As you did show the hand, so it looks like the Ruby Amethyst player. We're going to get those names to you guys here shortly, but the Ruby Amethyst player is on Pegasus technology. We saw that there were 2 Pegasi in the deck, so that is going to be a
yeah,
good way to engage with these Diablos. As we are going to go ahead and shift anyway.
yeah,
Brawl, don't care. Pegasus, don't care. As you're going to be able to set up that Pegasus, but you will get a card.
yeah.
Did you trigger the Diablo? I don't think you did. You got to make sure that you trigger that Diablo to draw. I don't think they did on that turn.
I don't believe so. Now, I will. What I will say about this color pairing as well is that a lot of people are preparing to check Diablo with Steel technology and
Mm-hmm.
things like Pegasus here. What they don't, and the situation is that there's way more evasives that exist in this color pairing, including what we're seeing on table right now, which is that dual ink Diablo. It's like
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, if you take out my Diablo and you survive, I'm taking you out. And so
Absolutely.
there's like so many checks and balances in this new Emerald Amethyst build. It's I love it. I think it's a great time.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strong, very strong deck.
Absolutely, and they did. Apparently, they did draw with the Diablo. I must have missed it, but I
Yeah.
thought the hand would be a little bit bigger. As you're going to play
Ooh.
another Diablo, we'll go ahead
Yep.
and quest for 2 in the face of that Pegasus, as you will get another plus value from your Diablo trigger. And if they do engage with this Pegasus, you're
Oh
just
my
like you're going to get
gosh.
a trade in anyway.
Jay Z,
And
did you see what was in the hand of the Emerald Amethyst player? Did you see that card that they just flashed for a moment?
I didn't. I didn't. What was it?
It's another green bird. It's another Diablo just waiting in the wings.
So maybe your Diablos can out Diablo these Pegasi, as you got Pegasus after Pegasus. We're gonna keep slamming. This is
Oh,
hilarious, dude. I love this Carnage. These are my favorite. Again, I'm so lucky because these are the games that I miss the most.
yes.
As you're just playing cards to the board, we're not removing. It's all combat all the time. Are my
It
favorite
is.
kind of matches, and it looks like you can continue to spam Diablos if you felt so inclined, or you can show some restraint and just kind of let these characters stand ready. As it looks like we're going to have Amethyst Emerald has some decisions to be made. Again, we're still working on those names. If we can get the, I'm gonna ask if we can
Yep.
get the names of the players.
And yeah, and so as and the thing about the Emerald Amethyst player is if we can get they can choose to not turn that character sideways.
Mm-hmm.
So that if they choose because they have an answer in Elsa on turn 5, you can also just say, you know what, as long as I outvalue you just one more. Okay, so it's Keith on the right and Axe on the left. All right, so Keith on the right and Axe is on the left.
Axe.
Her Axe, AX. I like. Oh, sorry,
Oh, nice.
Max,
Max.
Max.
Okay. Max
Max.
is on the right. Okay. Keith is on the left.
No, sorry. Axe is on the Max is on the left. Keith is on the right.
Max
Keith,
is on Elsa. Keith is on Belle. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Max is the one you want to win.
Yes. I am rooting for Team Max now. Sorry, Keith,
Yeah,
but you got to go down here big time. I really need this one. As we got
yeah.
Genie is up, able to contest this Diablo. As we're going to continue to
Oh, is
spam
that an Elsa?
Diablo threat after Diablo threat after
Yes.
Diablo threat.
So
And
the Elsa is sitting in hand right now, and we see the Elsa come down, turn that genie sideways, and do. So we've got the evasive dual link Diablo that can handle it. We've got the Elsa that can finish the job, and that means that the Diablo gets to stay. And the
mhm.
more that you draw from that Diablo, the higher your percentage of winning goes.
Absolutely. But now
Period.
you're going to be resist. Maybe they can get to a brawl here. I don't know what the ink count looks like. I think you might be going up to your fifth ink turn. So you could take some time off to go for a brawl here to clear this Diablo. But now you have that else to worry about as you have this little baby bird kind of standing alone and unafraid. You are going to your fifth ink turn here. So you could deploy your own Elsa if you felt so inclined. Let's
Yeah.
see how Max is going to break this thing down. Is you got to get this, like you said, you got to clear this bird at the earliest opportunity. Brawl or Elsa here would be phenomenal. You're
It
thinking
would
long
be.
and
It
hard, so
would
maybe
be.
you don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing too: is to dedicate. Unless it's Elsa, Elsa at least presents a character that gets to stay on the board if it takes out the Diablo. But if it's a brawl, then Max has to then have a 2-cost character just to continue to keep up with
Mm-hmm.
board presence. And so brawling it certainly deals with problems. It deals with Diablo. Diablo's a huge problem, but it's not an ideal thing to do. You play brawl because you have to, not because you want to. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
It is a super down tempo play a lot of times. If we're just going to elect to go ahead and quest up here, maybe we're about to initiate some little bounce technology as we will play 3. Fox is down, and Fox will be able to clear this Diablo here, taking a little bit of lore away from you, but you are going to feed your opponent another card. And do you
Yeah.
have, and
Yeah.
Diablo's going to come back into the play. I think you got to continue to ink so you can get to this Madame Medusa. I think will be a great card to kind of help break up this Diablo.
It certainly can, yeah. I mean, any the closer we can get to those fives for a Maui, 6 for a Medusa, 7 for a potential Be Prepared if they exist. Like with Ruby Amethyst, you need to keep climbing. There's really no like taking a break on inking when it comes to Ruby Amethyst. It's
Absolutely.
already too fair. It's a very fair deck. It doesn't ramp. So it needs to stay on pace if it wants to get to those high marks that it usually tries to do, those 6 and 7s.
Absolutely, but you really don't have now. You can take a little bit of time off to take some, and you will be able to get that Japanese friends on the other side, Japanese or Chinese. Adding 2 more cards, Diablo singing friends should be illegal. It is
It
just
is,
so strong when that
yes.
can happen. Very annoying. And then you can go ahead and what can you do with this Elsa? You can almost, I guess, you can Bruno with this Elsa if you felt so inclined.
You can sing Bruno. It's better than taking out the Elsa itself. You can also play Crab.
Okay.
As we're seeing done here, that's also a thing. That is a card you can do. I always find it interesting because Crab. When you think about Emerald Amethyst, there's not many removal options in there. Crab is in effect a removal option. It surprises your opponent. They have to anticipate it, and sometimes you just have to say, hey, you either got the Crab or you don't. So when you use it, you're kind of saying, "Hey, I'm going to deal with something." That's
Ah,
okay. I like that.
and
Bring
now
back
you
the
go ahead
Elsa.
and reset your Elsa
Yeah,
and trade in with the foxes here on your 6 ink play. I love that maneuver a lot, and you're going
yeah.
to have
I'm
another opportunity to engage your opposition's ready board. And you have this crab now that is set up, so you can kind of deduce that there's probably going to be a Medusa coming in on this turn to clear this Diablo. Now you'll have the opportunity to engage with that Medusa if you wanted to. So let's see if that's what happens here as
yeah.
Medusa comes in, banishes Diablo, and now you're going to pass here. So if you want it, you could Elsa into this Medusa now, or do you want to save that for something else? This is another interesting thought decision here. What would you do?
So I'm seeing what's in Keith's hand right now, and Keith has some bangers in the hand. Right, we see we see Iago. I mean, there's answers for days, things to be done, including that Elsa, which is going to bring our Medusa sideways. Now we can certainly take it out. The crab would go away, but Elsa would not.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what else we choose. But I mean, if you're looking at that hand, I'm seeing what looks like 2 Iagos. I'm seeing a couple. That's a Peter Pan in hand. So we're a turn away from slamming Peter Pan Iago all in the same turn. There's just so much that is coming from the Emerald Amethyst player, and
Absolutely.
Ruby Amethyst right now, like it's just trying to just put something on the board. And Emerald Amethyst, or I should say Keith. Now that we know their names, Keith is like, we're good. You can go ahead
Is
and I'm gonna
but
play this
now
myself.
is Ruby Am also on Peter Pan technology? I think they could also play this card. Peter Pan would be quite huge here, able to
It
tank this
could.
Elsa and keep it moving and keep this evasive strategy going. I love how the format's going to this evasive game plan as you're going up to this 7 ink turn. You'll bring out the goat just to have some
Let's
stats on
go.
the board. And then you'll bring
Ooh,
out the
Sisu.
Sisu old school, and you'll leave the Elsa back on the board alone and unafraid checking in. You can bounce this thing back to hand yet again if you felt so inclined.
Yeah. Now, seeing this, which with the Sisu, we generally call this the hand Sisu,
Hmm.
and we call it that because its strength depends on the number of cards in your opponent's hand. This indicates to me that this player is on Flynn, trying to get the highest attack value character down so that Flynn is effective. If you're playing Flynn and hand Sisu and Pegasus, I just can't see there being a whole lot of room for Peter Pan. And so
Hmm.
if it was me on Keith's side, I'd be less afraid of a Peter Pan, and I would just keep slamming these things down and just
Absolutely.
keep just keep on bringing back those things that are going to make me a threat to you. And there he is, folks, the man looking for the shadow. Well, he will find it, and that shadow's
Oh,
name is Iago.
and Judge Phil did indicate there was a missed goat triggered there. So there should be at 3. I don't know if it's too late to rewind the clock, but I think that is something that you can't take back. I know if
Yeah,
you missed that trigger, you gotta call it out. I'll confirm as Dan is out there doing the job. Shout out to Dan as head judge, head production, head everything of this tournament. We got that Sisu
yeah.
up and active. Maybe this be a good time to go ahead and sing some friends and not prep this board. I don't know what you do here as you just quest for
You just
2.
quest.
Yeah. Uh, and do you have more Medusas? I think you need more of those ladies to come on through here to kind of start cleaning up
Yeah,
this board a bit. As you know, you
all
have
those
Elsa coming back in.
yeah, all those ladies in red. Got to get them down. Let's go.
But they
We got
also
to
are
control this
quite
board.
vulnerable as well to this board because Elsa is going to be able to exert another character. You'll bring the goat back in to gain additional lore.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. I mean, we're seeing just this stabilization period. We have one card in Max's hand, Keith with significantly more than that. So we're kind of in a soft area here now. We see
Oh, there he is. There he is. That's your play.
Iago. That's my boy. That's my boy Iago. We love you, Iago. Doing those crazy things you do.
And he comes on in and absolutely just tanks this Sisu just like you drew it up. And then we're going to get a nice little hardy quest in for 2, staring down this goat. Goat can trade into the fox, but that's really not that great of an
No.
exchange. You have
Yeah.
one card in hand. You need to start trying to figure out a way to generate some pluses. Rabbit would be okay adjacent, but still you are losing this board in a major way. And
Yeah.
sending goat into fox just never feels good. That is one of the
It doesn't.
low trades there.
Yeah, and it looks like Max agrees with you. Max is saying, no, 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 no. If you want this goat, you need to come get this goat because I'm not giving it to you.
Uh,
And in fact, not only are you not going to get this goat, I'm going to get this goat because I'm going to play Be Prepared. That's what you're going to get.
yeah. Yeah, he is evasive. So Peter Pan will give evasive characters rush on their entry, which I think is a little wombo combo, as we will have no cards in hand, ink the Maui just to pass. So now your top decks need to start happening as the big vanishing bird is back at it again, up and
Oh,
active, doing his
so
thing.
so crazy. This bird Iago is so strong. I've heard people say, "Yeah, but I can play Storm on it." Okay, you
Yeah,
just wasted a Storm.
good
Good
luck.
job.
Yeah, you can play
But,
Storm on anything.
oh,
Okay,
I
who cares?
stand corrected. JDZ, you were right. I was wrong. Peter Pan is in fact
In
in
the
Max's deck.
Look at that. And it worked out. He
Wow.
could have worked out, but that Elsa is still going to be evasive, doing her thing. And maybe there is no Flynn. I think Flynn's time is over. I don't think Flynn is going to be a part of it. Maybe you put those Pegasi in there to replace the Flynn back on Peter Pan as a good way. This format is just so evasive right now. You got to have
Yes.
answers to it. And I think that is a good call to make. But are you cutting rabbit here though? Because I haven't seen a rabbit. If you're cutting rabbit and snake, then you might as well play another deck at this point, I think, because you're just not doing it.
It's
You're not
it's
doing it right,
tough.
in my opinion.
It's
As we
tough.
are
I mean, Rabbit is a tough. Oh
Woo!
wow, that was a
Off the
top deck
tizzy.
of the century.
Off the
Okay.
tizzy. Be
All right.
prepared. You
Okay.
love that. And now this game is actually stabilized here as Ursula,
Yeah.
Deceiver, is going to hit the board. We're in this top deck moment. Now you need this lady in the chair. Sisu off the
Ooh,
top. Look at this
Sisu.
deck.
But
Delivering.
here's the
These top
thing.
decks are ripping.
Keith is about to.
Holy
Yeah, no. Look at this. Back and forth. Back and forth.
hopping. What do you got
This
here?
is crazy.
What's the next trick up your sleeve? Do you have it? Whatever it is, you
Do it.
got enough ink, you got to slam it. And we're slamming little. That was not the most
Little.
aggressive slam.
No, but that was okay. You know, it's a little bird. It. Okay, Peter Pan into the crab. Okay, so we're just laying characters down.
And
Now
we
we
are
have to imagine that the number of be prepareds in this deck are low. We've already seen 2 of them. We see the hand Sisu come down, but that means that Sisu has 1 strength, and that's
yeah.
about it.
And he's not doing too much. It still can quest
No.
for 2, which is quasi important. It's still something to take note of, as these
It
top
is.
decks have been vicious for both players. As we're bringing
Ooh.
out another crucial top deck, bring out that Diablo. He's also evasive. You can quest pretty freely here, as now Sisu
Yeah.
is now holding on to 1 in the strength, which is Misery Incarnate. You would love to get to some juice here. I think if you inked several Mauis, Maui would be okay, as you're just going to plug the crab for 1.
Yeah, that would be correct. It would be 1. It would be for 1
Are you about to
damage.
set a Rapunzel trap? I mean, what are we doing here? I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, you've initiated my trap card, Yugi. Let's see what happens.
Okay, maybe some
Interesting.
maybe
Maybe a
some
bell.
rush.
Maybe who knows? There's so many. Okay, we're looking at the
Interesting.
card. We're deciding.
Bell would be huge.
Okay.
It could be Bell.
Oh
Bell.
no, but it's for 3. It's for 3.
Oh, okay,
No,
we're
it's for
thinking
2.
it's the
Okay,
snake.
snake. Okay.
Gotcha. A little
All right.
snake bounce, and probably going to be a redeployment here, unless you think
Yeah.
about just putting into the inkwell. I think even a little baby quest there might be better bang for your buck. It's just going to pass it back on over to Keith, who is going to be feeling quite good with these evasive
Oh
characters on the
yes.
play. A nice full value friends on the other side, followed by 2 more characters onto the play. A lot of birds, a Peter Pan, and a crab. Who's going to win as we quest for 2?
A lot of lunch right there on the table right there for you, buddy. Holy
and it
smokes.
and it looks like we have lethal damage in play, as we will go ahead and quest the crab up as well. So now you need to get to another copy of Be Prepared off the Tizzy. You did it once? Can you do it again?
Oh, I mean,
Are you skilled enough?
oh, show it to us. Show us
Let's
that.
see it.
Show it. Oh. Well, so here's the thing. He's going through his turn as if there's something to be had. I'm curious. Let's see what we get.
Sisu, another Sisu, a shift Sisu here is actually quite good, or a regular Sisu
Yeah, that would be
would
dirty.
be nice. You clear this whole board if you wanted this turn, and you can just challenge the snake
Oh,
into the crab to finish it. And it is Genie. That is not what you need.
No.
You still have Ink Shift Sisu of line available to you, and you
Yep.
just don't got it. And we're going to pack it up and get out of there. So
Yep.
wow,
So Team Bell gets 1 more victory. Sorry about that, JD. I'm on your
cooked.
side. I want Elsa to do it, but just because you wanted Bell.
We got a lot of tournament left, and my confidence is being shaken here at my core. I'm trying to see these Elsas come through. We came out strong, and the Bells just took over here towards the end of this tournament, as we are in the top 8. Again, huge shout out to Encounter Cards and Game out in Allentown, Philadelphia area, for hosting this event in that Northeast region. Here is the top 8 breakdown we have on your screen before you. Amethyst Steel taking up the lion's share, followed by Amethyst Emerald coming in at second place. Then we have Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald Steel, and 1 Amber. Amethyst Ruby is going to round out the rest of the top 8. I like that. I like this. This looks way better. This looks good.
I mean, the take rate of the Amethyst Steel converting into top 8 is huge. I mean, there was a lot of Amethyst Steel, so I'd have to do the math to specifically say like what percentages are here. But I mean, the percentages seem to line up, generally speaking, with the numbers of the decks that appeared. I got to take a look at those. We'll take a look at that graph after this game, but it'd be interesting to see what the actual math is on like conversion rate.
Absolutely. I think that's I still think it looks better instead of just all Sapphire Ruby, all Sapphire Steel, and that's it.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
this looks a lot cleaner, looks a little bit more diverse, maybe a bit more emerald than I want to see. I would love to see some amber representation in the top echelons of these tournaments. I know that there has to be some amber strategy that is viable enough to have success in this Sisu proof metagame, but maybe I'm wrong, as
There is.
Song did not convert.
I know. To be fair, there was also like a limited number of Amber Steel that came to play today. So that's a factor as well. Like the number of people that are deciding to play it, there being so few of them. I do think that it has to morph a little bit. So like if we're gonna live in a world where there's going to be a lot of steel, and there's going to be a lot of emerald as well. I
Hmm.
do think that it needs to do similar things. Like there may be a consideration for an increase in things like bare necessities, to look at
Yeah.
triple in his hand, to take things out. So it's not. I don't think. I think what we're seeing is just like day one, or I guess technically it's half. Right? We're in the 7.5 meta, as we've been calling it, and
Yeah.
so I think it's just like the growing pains of this new meta, and I do anticipate that Amber Steel will be there in the top ranks with what we're seeing there.
100%. I can curve. I think those cards are too good. I think that deck is too good. I think the singer mechanic is too broken for someone not to figure out a way to make that a tier point 0.5, tier 1 at least level threat to be securing most positions in the top portion of these
Yeah,
events. As we are going to go ahead and start Diablo again, I don't think you have the shift line available to you, and you're going to reveal more Pegasi and Brawl and Maui. So you're really ready to engage with this board, checking your hand. No songs to be nabbed, and we're going to just pass it
no,
back on over here. So
and
it looks like
yeah,
we're gonna have a nice little fair game happening. If you can go ahead and put this Pegasus, I think I still just deploy the Pegasus here as a nice little way to contend the position
I would agree. Yeah,
before it gets out of hand.
just like a preemptive, like
Mhm.
a yeah. Hey, don't mess with me. I know what you got, and I got it too.
A deterrent, a nice little deterrent.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
Just put it out there and see what you're going to do to
yeah,
just force your opponent not to engage with this Diablo. As you know, that this is what this deck wants to do, and we have noticed here, even throughout this tournament, like if this deck isn't shifting Diablo and having it stick around for a while, it's not as dynamic as you think it would be
yeah.
in a normal way. Or if you can clear the Diablo relatively early, it's not as good. It's still a very capable deck, but it's not as good. So just something
Agreed.
to consider, as this Pegasus might be the meta breaking card needed to keep this evasive format at bay, as
Yeah,
we'll
I
see
mean
Elsa.
the other thing that you can, so when you're playing Emerald Amethyst, the other consideration is whether or not you're also kind of bought into the discard part of it. Like if you're playing all the sudden chills, you could go the different route. You could play the Prince John instead of focusing on the Diablo, so that you still have another way out in terms of getting that card draw and controlling the game as you enter the mid and late game. The
Hmm.
question is, do you have those pieces to do it, and how many of those pieces, like how many Prince Johns are you playing in order
Mm.
to capitalize on that? So I think that Emerald Amethyst is also kind of in a growing pains status. I've seen builds that have all four Prince Johns included in what we're seeing here, and I've seen builds that do other things and go down to like two Prince Johns or one, and in some cases even none. And
Hmm.
so, are you giving yourself that off ramp in case the Diablo thing can't happen? And that's kind of coming into play here too.
Yeah, another way to draw some cards. I know this deck also plays friends on the other side. That's another little draw thing. You do have, I don't know if it doesn't, it plays genies as well, which can kind of help replace and help facilitate a little bit of draw. It does have some bounce elements in there too. So they have ways to replenish their hand, but sometimes when they just don't get the Diablo to go for 4 or 5 turns, they can stifle and it can run out of steam, as you have triple Diablo Maleficent Pet on board right now. I think that's its code name, just hanging out there tough, and now you
Yes.
can't even exert anymore. You're going to get plus heavy on this by this Sisu now, who's able to contest this board. Sisu being a
Yeah.
great three cost character. So the tough spot. Let's see how you break it down. You got to make something happen here as you go
You
into this
do.
third ink.
And you see what's being decided on. It looks like Keith is trying to decide whether we shift or play something for three, potentially that Diablo, because we did see flickering with that big Diablo that is sitting in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Opting though to grab the Peter Pan instead. So it looks like Keith is playing very,
Mm-hmm.
very carefully. Keith does not want to give up that Diablo too soon. He has to know that he was extremely lucky in just the back to back to back to back Diablos that he was able to pick to get throughout the last game, and
Yeah.
that may not be the case this game. You can't trust that luck twice.
So now I think you're trying to set some type of bait for this Sisu to engage with these Diablos here. So you can set up another giant parrot play to counteract the Sisu to clear that threat off the board and have another beefy anti-evasive threat of your own. So these are some gamesmanships. Let's see if Max is going to take the bait and send this Sisu in on a challenge or exert at all, or we just allow this 3 lore to continue to pile up on from Keith's side. So for a fact, putting that Peter Pan out there on this turn, ink, and then go big parrot next turn, it's got to be something that you really have to look out for. So tough play, and it looks like you are engaging. You are going to take the bait. Maybe you have some bounce to follow it up.
Yeah, I mean potentially, we're entering into turn 4 for these players,
Hmm.
as we see the ink come down to signify that for Max with a rabbit. Rabbit, of course, very high value as as a bounce target. Not only that, but if we are forced into a board wipe situation, it nets you one more card. It makes that be prepared hurt a little bit less for the
Hmm.
player playing it. And so we're kind of seeing that establishment of that board.
Yeah, so we are going into the 4 ink turn, and let's see if we got the punish from the big bird coming down,
Ooh,
being able to clear this Sisu now, as you gave him a target to hit into to set up this play. Do you have it? Were you able to draw into it? You got the hypnotize in hand. Maybe you're thinking about slamming down the hypnotize or trying to clear your hand a bit. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, potentially, we think about, okay, so we're choosing to ink that, and yes,
Yep,
there he
there he
is.
is.
It's
The
my boy.
the spectral parrot is out, and you're able to reduce your hand to clear keep Sisu's stat line only at a 3. So this Diablo, or excuse me, this big bird can bash into the Sisu, and then
Yeah,
maybe you can engage with the Pegasus to clear this Pegasus, and then you can have your shift Diablo go free and clear. But you know your adversary may get to a brawl here at this point. Maybe they're hanging on to a brawl. Their hand is also quite healthy. I think you're still holding 5 cards while you're holding 2. They have lost the board a bit, but still 5 cards in hand seems quite nice for you. If you
it
are
does.
max, you got to be in a very comfortable position with this.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we're seeing, we know that the this is a fair game from the Ruby Amethyst side in terms of ramping, but there's still a lot of resources available, as some people noting in the chat, a number of brawls in hand. So like options are available to Max. Max is by no means locked in, and
Hmm.
we're going to see that as this game kind of develops as we enter into turn 5 here.
Right. So if there are a multitude of brawls, I guess there is a world where you can go ahead and send the Pegasus into the spectral parrot, and then send the rabbit into no, he can't. The rabbit cannot clear the clear. It can clear the Diablo, brawl the Peter Pan, and just kind of have a nice calm board, and you'll have a ton of cards in hand. So we will take this play, as it looks like rabbit will clear one of the Diablos. We are going to bring out the Madam Mim snake just to bounce
I like
here.
that. I like that. Continuing to keep those resources in hand, showing that Max is not afraid of this board state right now. We're just, granted, Keith has 7 lore right now, but that's not the end of the world. We can still recover from this as
Hmm.
long as we can keep the resources coming in that will allow me to get to those mid and late game kind of markers that I need to get to make sure that I can get to the board wipe and eventually turn the page and win this game.
Absolutely. I think I'm clearing this bird. I think I'm clearing the bird. I'm clearing both of these evasive threats now. I'll brawl and I'll crash this Pegasus, and I'll clear both of these things right here,
Yeah,
because a bounce on that parrot might just be the tempo gain that you just don't want to deal with either if you keep both of those characters available. So now you're in a
yeah,
very comfortable spot. You just have one character on board, 2 cards in hand. Your hand is pretty much discard proof at this point because of its volume, and you have this
yeah.
nice reliable 3 cost character on the play. So you don't really have to worry about getting Elsa too hard, as you are going to be in a pretty okay position. So now it's going to be on Keith to put some plays together to see what you can do. And without a nice reliable draw engine set up now, I mean, maybe you just gamble and shift this Diablo if you had it. I don't think you even have Diablo to shift. Yes, you do actually.
Yes, yes, we do. Now, I mean, you can either shift it, you can play it outright to keep the board presence. There's a few ways you can go about it. You kind of
Hmm.
have to look at your hand though to see, like because you're giving up a hand resource to shift, and you're trying to get one more card for it. So you're losing 2 cards to draw one extra card. That could be bad. Now we know that there is another brawl sitting in Max's hand.
Hmm.
Keith does not know that, but at the same time, there has to be some assumptions made at the 5th turn going into next turn. If you don't have brawl, we're in Medusa range next turn too.
Right.
So
Oh yeah.
you have to just know, as Keith, like, okay, I'm in danger and I need to figure something out. Do I play this? The Diablo and potentially get one more card that could save my life, or do I keep hanging out? And yeah, and actually, yeah, pointing it out, Keith actually does know about that second roll because we
Oh,
saw
because
it.
of the Diablo
Yeah,
that he played, he
because
was
of
able to
Diablo
peep the
earlier.
hand.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so he's
shifting
aware.
shifting Diablo here is just not even what you want to do. I mean, I guess at some point you got to get it out of the way, maybe you can continue to draw discard actions until you can clear that thing from hand, or maybe you can force your opposition to ink it. But there's a
Yeah.
rabbit in hand now. They're going to start looping these rabbits. Going to have a jillion cards in hand here quite soon, and you'll never get that brawl out of the way. So it seems very confident that you're probably never going to shift this Diablo, and I think
No.
that's a game that you just can't win, like we talked about early on. When the Diablo is not a part of it, I think
No.
you're going to have a very, very hard time getting along, especially no Prince John either. You really got nothing. Just the only characters you put on the board so far has just been that parrot, the Peter Pan, and these baby birds, and it's just not enough.
No, it's not. And Max has done a fantastic job of dealing with the board as it's come up, having the answers, but not just having the answers, but playing intelligently, making sure that we're using the rabbits to get more resources. So very well played by Max, setting himself up for the game as we're seeing it laid out as it is now. It all got to this point because of the number, knowing that this is a discard deck, knowing that you might potentially face these problems, being very, very careful of that and choosing the right targets for bouncing to bring back the rabbit, to keep drawing and to keep moving that option, to give the options available. As far as I'm concerned, JDZ, and if you want to put some boosty wagers on it, I'm willing to take it. But I think this game is going to be I think Max is going to take this game and go to game 3.
Yeah.
That's my bet right now, even though the numbers don't necessarily say that.
I can see it. I think this Ruby Sapphire deck, or excuse me, this Ruby Amethyst deck, when it starts to cook, it can cook hard. But the only, I think what Max or what Keith has going for him is that you do have that lore advantage. And this deck, while this deck can't reach, maybe you can just start putting characters down and then just keep questing piece by piece. I know this deck can play Go-Go sometimes. I'm not sure if this version is playing Go-Go, but maybe you can have like a nice Go-Go walk-off. It would kind of fit the identity of this deck okay. It's evasive. It can reach out for some additional lore. It can kind of just stay high, stay above the board and quest a little bit. Potentially that's a way that you can win, but now you got this Genie up, you have these Pegasus, you have these Brawls as you put Brawl down into the Inkwell. So maybe that's your sign right there to get this Diablo set up. But I think it might be a bit too late for Diablo at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, the value, like every turn that Diablo sits in hand, you can't even ink it. Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
You can't even ink the card to use it for other value. It just sits there, and so Keith has to decide whether it's time to lay this thing down and let it go, or to let this whole thing go and just kind of hope for the best.
Or just let it go to game number 3. I think is probably
Right.
another option that you could have. But you don't want to quit. You always want to play it out to see what you can do. And also these deck lists are not open for what I understand. So you have an idea of what your opponent's playing, but it's very important to kind of just see it all the way through and just see, maybe you can get some of their hidden text. Maybe they have to play more cards. So I think that's something that Max might be considering as well. Like, how much of my information am I giving up for this all important game number 3 coming in off of the draw? Like, how many Genies are you playing? How many rabbits are you playing? How many Peter Pans are you playing? And that's just information that you can take with you into this all important game number 3. So there's always something to be gained by playing.
100%. Yeah, that is so true. And a lot of people, they there's always an argument like, well, just scoop it up. Like you'll see a lot of people say, well, you already know it's over, just scoop it up. But you are 100% right. Mm-hmm. The name of the game is information. You get information. You can use that information later. And so for those of you that are saying scoop it up, you're missing information that can make your game 3 harder.
Absolutely. And also, I don't know if the top cut is timed as well. In the Swiss portion, yeah, it might be beneficial to scoop up a lost game so you can have more time to play your game number 3. So, but I don't know if the top cut is timed. And even if it is, I still would like to probably play it out to give yourself the most opportunity to know what exactly going to happen. And you never know, maybe your opponent could stumble and it could get to the point where you could maybe crawl back into this thing. Very unlikely, but still possible.
Yeah, and we're being told that it's extended, so that it's still a time limit, but it's longer than what is traditionally put for Swiss.
Okay.
And we're halfway through that time. We're at 35 minutes left in the round, exactly halfway through the time.
That's a perfect amount. So you will have enough, and we're like halfway through the match. It seems like we're 0.5 through a game number 2, potentially going into a game number 3. So everything, and the player, and shout out to all these players today. Everyone has been playing at a pretty nice clip. I don't think we've gone to time once on stream, which is the first time I can say that in actual weeks. We haven't had a game go to time, which is super impressive. Maybe that's just because the meta is so much Amethyst now instead of all the Sapphire that we had. But still, I love that. And the players are playing with a bit of vigor and tempo, playing quickly.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. It shows a little bit of confidence.
Now, Keith over here is taking a little bit of time, but it's understandable because we're again very pivotal moment here, deciding what to take off the board because Max is at the point now where the corner is getting turned, the
Mm-hmm.
board state is shifting in Max's favor. We see as we see that Keith is actually impacting his own board by keeping a fox down there, trying to maintain this board, and yep, doing exactly what you expect, which is to get rid of the rabbit to prevent additional draw and
Absolutely.
additional bouncing. You kind of have to just deal with that, unfortunately.
That is one lesson I learned from some very skilled players during my time, and I'm still accepting all information. But hey, if you see if you have an opportunity, clear a rabbit, clear the rabbit. Just get rid of it early. A lot of times you might be reluctant to give your adversary a little bit of that additional card draw, but get it out of there because all they're going to do is just keep bouncing the thing up and down, up and down, up and down. Just keep drawing cards forever. Clear the rabbit if you can, especially if you can take a little bit of a favorable exchange, like the fox can clear the rabbit and not be banished instead. So you will probably lose a fight as another rabbit comes on in. You're like,
Oh
oh my
goodness
goodness,
gracious!
this is rough.
It just doesn't end. They just keep spawning. That's what rabbits are they're so good at spreading around everywhere, and we may have to eat them to help reduce the population a little bit here. So we'll see.
And it'd be interesting to see if you're going to engage with this fox or will you just continue to quest heavy with your evasive board and just continue to go about the cabin. I think you know that there might be a Peter Pan in hand. So that could be interesting if you elect to do that. But I think I do
I
it anyway.
mean,
I think you're feeling quite
yeah.
comfortable here in
I
this
was gonna
spot.
say. I mean, let's say he does that. You take it out with one character. You still have four characters left plus four ink that plays. I mean, this game is over.
Hmm.
There's just no way that Keith can.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's just no way.
Not without
Um,
some massive board wipe. I think once you've lost way too much position here, as you're going to
yeah,
quest, leaving up the Pegasus as your deterrent.
yeah. I mean, certainly. Now, interestingly enough, the Pegasus it's evasive always, right? It's not just on its turn.
Oh yeah, Pegasus is
Uh,
always evasive, but he's
yeah.
only a
So
3/1.
yeah, so you wonder like why not quest it? You might be worried about the Peter Pan here. To your point.
Hmm.
So I
But
mean,
even if Peter Pan came down, it would trade out together, which you would love to do
yeah,
that. And going one for one is basically a plus at this point because
correct.
Keith has such few resources left, and you have so many cards in your hand that are gaining more resources each time. So we're going to go ahead and bring out the Peter Pan, who really can't favorably exchange with anything. I guess you got to
No.
just toss that Diablo in here now. He's been hanging out for too long in the hand. Just get him onto the field, and
Yeah.
I
Yep. There you go. For no other reason but to make that Sisu just
hold on.
one attack.
Wait, did we shift that Diablo? Oh, he's got rush. He's got rush. Never mind. I'm bad.
Yeah. Peter Pan. Peter Pan
Hmm.
makes things crazy in this world.
It's such a wild thing seeing Diablo coming
Yeah.
out, which is cool. That's another little hidden synergy that we didn't even talk about. Is that Diablo coming out rushing is automatic. It's kind of like shifting because now he's exerted and you
Yep.
can get that draw immediately. So that's actually another little hidden tech coming in from the Peter Pan Shadow Finder that a lot of people haven't been talking about. Pretty neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly. And that's a good point. I mean, generally speaking, it doesn't happen often because with such low health, with two health,
Hmm.
most things can pluck it. And so, being able to do that and controlling the board to do that, it was a very heads up play. Very good job there. I mean, but still, we're looking at okay. There comes the brawl as we expected. But so on this turn, Max is going to get to go to 17. There's five lore worth. I'm sorry, I lied to you. There's two, three, four, five, six lore worth of characters. So that's
Hmm.
18. And then we don't forget that there's a goat on the table. So essentially, that's basically 19. I mean, this game is wraps. It's got
But
to be
we are
wraps.
we are still singing though instead of questing.
We
I
are.
think I'm just getting exerted with it. As we bring out the Elsa, we'll clear the Peter Pan, and then we can quest all glimmers.
Yeah.
And I think Keith is saw enough and says, you know what, let's go ahead
Yeah.
and get on into a healthy little game number 3, and hope for the best this time. As it seems as if Max has came to play. You got a lot of answers to Diablo, and I'm pretty sure that's what you thought the meta would be. As did a lot of other people, felt that this meta would become very Diablo focused in the wake of a Hiram ban with the reduction of Ruby Sapphire, and you tech your deck according to that
Hey guys,
heavily.
I messed
What's up,
up.
buddy?
What's up, Dan?
So we have a new bracket because I messed the first one up.
Uh
There
huh.
Okay.
was a dogs in top 8.
There was a
Okay.
dogs. Okay.
Yeah.
Any spice in the dog build, or was it just
I
standard
didn't look
dogs?
at it yet. But it did the 3 Amethyst Steel decks all won in top 8.
Oh
So we
wow.
have 3 Amethyst Steel in top 4,
Oh
and then the winner
wow.
of the match that we were watching.
You're lying.
Interesting.
But I wanted to
Oh,
just come in between rounds and just be
hey,
like, oh
on
yeah,
your
I messed
on
up.
your on your can I make a suggestion on your thumbnail? Can you put like a Diablo or something, like a Diablo joke? Can you, or
Okay,
for me?
like for
Uh,
future references,
no, like just for this one when you cover
I
this. I
gotta
know you're gonna
fix it.
cover
I
this.
can't do it like right now.
Not
Like I
right
mean, I
now. I mean, like
could.
for the
Yeah,
for the
No, Dan,
tournament.
do it right
Hey,
now.
for the
yeah, yeah,
coverage of the thing, like a
yeah,
Diablo. Are we
yeah,
all green or something? Like I can something like that. It's a
yeah.
green. It's a green. You need. I don't know.
Well, not if Ruby Amethyst wins, right? Then we just have, then we have like all non-Emerald decks in top four. I'm just saying.
Okay, but if we
Yeah.
get
You're right.
if Keith can win though, it'll be a Diablo fest that we have
It
going
could
on
be
here.
all Amethyst decks. We just put a genie on there, bro.
We gotta sell the Diablo. I think people are buying Diablo. Maybe.
Yeah, it's like
I don't
45
know.
bucks, man. You got to ride that stock wave.
Maybe. All right, but looking at the hand, it looks like you do not have access to a shift play again. I think you got to just send it. You got to mull or alter hard forward. I don't know if the alters have already went in, but I'd send it. It looks like you're going to keep what you got.
It certainly looks that way. Yeah, I mean, there is an argument to be made about if it's a good enough hand, then just play it good enough, and then you
Yeah,
just hope to draw and get there. I actually appreciate that too because you can send something away and then get back something way more expensive or just get more inkables. And
yeah,
so I think there is such a thing as over altering, and we don't want to do
I
that
agree.
either.
I agree. That's another lesson that I had to learn through trial, error, pain, and repetition. Is that sometimes it's good enough. Hold what you got, big dog, and just ride it, man. Because you try to get greedy and you get cooked, and that happens to me more often than I care to admit. So
Yeah, greed.
I
Greed is a dirty, dirty thing.
sometimes you fly too close to the sun and get
Yeah,
absolutely scorched on the way back down. As we're going to the all important game three, I like a little bit of sportsmanship
I
as we
love
got
it.
the fist bumps are in, and we're going to start by inking the Elsa, playing the Maleficent Spy, showing the hand again. You have your anti Diablo measures are in abundance there,
Holy
as you have
smokes!
so much. That
So
bird is
many
not
answers.
flying. Look at
No.
that.
Yeah, that is not going
Holy.
to happen. No flying birds for you. I mean, which good on Max for that proper alter, like altering. You can tell that was a very hard alter for those items.
Hmm.
We saw two brawls. We saw what else did we see? There was the Peter Pan that could deal with
Yeah.
it if it needed to.
Yeah, Peter
There's the
Pan, two
Pegasus as well.
brawls, and there was also the Pegasus. Yeah, Pegasus, two
Pegasus.
brawls, Peter Pan, et cetera, et cetera. You have everything you need. But do you have a one cost character that you can put to the play right
Listen,
now
we don't
to
have
start
time
the thing
for
off?
that, JDZ. That we
You're
were
right.
so busy trying to find an answer for the Diablo. Okay, you can't have
Nah.
me. I can't do everything, dude. Like, come
And you
on.
do have them. You
Oh,
have two.
but I
One
have
is
it.
Diablo and one of the
I have
Chernobog
it.
followers. So you're going to favor the Chernobog over the Diablo. I like to see that as you find the crab down into the inkwell. Let's
Yeah.
see what you do on this turn two play. I think you got to keep it rocking with two
Yep.
more
Rocking
Diablos.
birds. Just hey, what's better than one character on two is two characters on two. So let's keep laying them down. If you're gonna stop me from shifting Diablos, I'm gonna force you into a position where you need to just answer all these little tiny problems, and then maybe I can draw. Oh, maybe I can draw into a situation later on, and then deal with it
Mhm.
later.
And now we have that Pegasus on too, standing alone and unafraid. So great against non-steel decks because there's really not a lot of ways to engage cleanly. I guess you could send that Elsa in on 5, but that's so far away. You can quest and bounce, or you can bring out the Shadow Finder, who is going to be up and
Yes.
active, cannot be exerted. We're going to quest for one, which I think is a pretty safe quest, if I don't say so
Yeah,
myself. As you
I
try
do
to
too.
engage with these one-cost characters, they're going to be banished themselves. So clean quest from this Diablo as you pass back on over. Probably trying to fish
Yeah,
out this brawl here.
that's exactly what's happened. That's exactly what it is. I think what Keith is trying to convey here is either I don't have Diablo or I have Diablo, but I'm not willing to play it. So you may as well blow all the things that you mulligan for, all the things you alter for. If you
Hmm.
may as well use them, you may as well put them down. And so there's one of those things. It's a Peter Pan. That Peter Pan is
Yeah.
one of the things that are there that kind of help stop the Diablo. We're saying one item. Can we get the rest of that stuff out of hand and then potentially create a world where in the mid to late game I can get some Diablos down and let them rock?
But for me, if I got spectral parried once, I feel like it's going to happen to me every time. And you kind of played into it again inadvertently, as you will be able to ink. And if you have that bird again, you can clear this Peter Pan for a nice little plussing
Oh,
value. But you
and
have to
guess
ink
what,
to do
JDC?
that. I see
JDC,
it
guess
too.
what?
He's
Guess
hanging.
what?
There he
Guess
is.
what?
He's back at it again.
He's back.
He's back. Oh my goodness. And he is back. As we are going to continue to quest pretty cleanly now with these Diablos, because you have a little bit of defense in the name of this evasive Iago, who can then check into the Pegasus and survive again. Talk about a tank. Look at this guy.
This
Look at
thing's
this
up.
dude.
This guy is built thick.
Hey,
He's thick with 2 C's.
Hey, we might need to start buying this this freaking Iago is looking great, dude. He's looking quite good.
Yeah. I want to get me some shiny ones. These are beautiful giant birds. I mean, it's a little scary. He's just stomping on all the buildings, looking like a giant Godzilla bird. But hey, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Just let Iago shower you with his feathers and love. Okay,
And,
that's all.
and
That's
honestly, there is like with no steel. This is a non-steel match. There's really not a lot of ways that this Ruby Amethyst deck can engage with this dude. Unless it's through combat, you're gonna have to either get rid of it through a timeless remain, or that's it.
Yeah.
I think you're done, and we're going to go ahead and brawl out the Peter Pan here finally.
What makes it even worse? So like the Pegasus needs help from a crab in order to get rid of this Iago. So even the Pegasus right now with its 3 attack is not enough to deal with Iago. It's insane.
Oh man, as no, I'm not. It's in the building. World class cards, finest. Is in the building. Said, can someone send me some Diablos, please? I'm driving. Okay, we got you, big dog. They're only about $50 each. Okay, they're only about $50. They're going up in price, man. You got to get them while you can. As this Spectral Parrot is hanging out, completely freeze drying this entire board. You can send that Pegasus on a quest if you want to. You will lose it, and you just ran the numbers.
Yeah, it'll get eaten up by that Iago if you even think so. If it even breathes wrong, it's going to get eaten by that Iago. As we see, do I quest this thing and draw a card for it? Do I not? And shout out to Artifacts, another. I love seeing it. So Kendall's in the chat and Artifacts is in the chat, we've got both of their colors on screen. Go. I love it. Let's do this.
They got to be so happy that their colors are back. I'd be so stoked if I'm a top player who's made a lot of fame and fortune off of my colorway, and seeing that news has to make me ecstatically happy. Shout out to all of those players, but also a woe goes out to the Ruby Sapphire community. They have been stunned. They are absolutely perplexed as their colors have been reduced to rubble here. As
we're at 2 for 1. 2 for 1 for that Iago. That Iago has cleared 2 characters and is still alive.
That Iago is going absolutely insane. If just imagine if he go Fox here, bounces this Iago back, and he does it. Oh my goodness!
Let's go!
Oh my goodness! That was humongous. Oh my! And now the bird is back, dude. Holy!
That thing got 5 damage on it and came back, and it's gonna that one card will effectively have had 11 health this entire game. That is
goes
crazy.
Down into the inkwell. Just probably because you don't have another Peter Pan Shadow Finder to support it again. But that thing got tremendous value in this game so far. As we are heavily contesting this board, going up to that 5th ink turn, Maui would be quite clean on this Fox. You like a little Maui clear Fox vibration, and let's see if you can pull the play off, and you cannot. It seems like you might be deprived of a little bit of incuration, as you're just going to have to play this rabbit out a little down tempo. Hate to see it. But you still do need to keep inking, though.
Exactly. That you hit it. You hit the nail on the head there, GDZ. I mean, if you have nothing to do but play a rabbit, it's not really the worst thing to do. It gives you you can be more better situated moving into the late game. It gives you one more resource. So if this is the worst thing that we can do, it's still a pretty good thing, to be fair.
Yeah, but seeing that friends go down to the inkwell might tell a tale of what that hand is looking like. It might not be as cash money clear as you would like it to be. As that turn felt very anemic in this type of situation. You do have this genie up now, and you have this Fox who's going to try to get another plus value on something. We'll see it. And you did have the Maui. Maybe you drew it. And you have a brawl and the Peter Pan.
Yeah, speaking of cash money, I am from Miami, so money is a major issue, and apparently it's a major issue for Max as well, as we're trying to keep those resources flowing. We see a Maui, we see that brawl, we see that Peter Pan in hand from the Diablo trigger that allows them to see the hand. So, I mean, we've got answers to things, but we've got 3 cards. We see a sudden chill sitting in Keith's hand. So we do know that one of those things can disappear if need
And
be,
and we
and we're gonna
are going to chill here.
yeah, and we will be
Take a little.
chilling.
What are we kicking here?
Yeah,
Tell Spot.
goodness gracious.
I I don't know if is it the Maui. I would love to have that Maui come in and hammer this Fox, and then potentially
Ooh,
hammer this, get hammered by this Diablo.
so
I,
tough. What a tough choice.
and we will
What a
kick
tough
the
choice.
Shadow Finder, but now you're in a very, very compromised position. You do have that rabbit. A little snaky poo here could be good, but I still think I'm sending it. We'll quest.
Yep. We'll
Maybe
see
you
what
got
we can do.
your own Fox isn't that bad either. Just get a little bit more draw in, and you got to the
Yeah.
Fox. Look at that top deck
Listen.
central. You
Yeah,
love
we
that.
need answers. We need answers, and so we got the way we find the answers is we draw more cards. That's what we do. So, as I mentioned, Ruby Amethyst very fair, just slowly chugging along on its ink counts. It needs to build up resources so that its mid to late game is solid, and you do that drawing one card at a time. Just plain and simple.
Chugging along, singing our song. We will ink that Sisu that we drew off the hand, really favoring that Maui, really favoring that Brawl.
Yep.
And now the rabbit is going to remain in hand. You could brawl out this genie if you wanted, just to keep that lore off the board, but this Shift Diablo will clap you up. So I guess you are all
Yeah.
in on protecting yourself from this Diablo.
I mean, you
And
can protect yourself until the number 20 shows up on that phone, though, and that might not be the right place either. However, Keith is opting to potentially slow down to sing a friends on the other side, and deciding whether we pay for this or yeah. And so we're deciding that rather than getting the value of playing it for free, we'd rather quest. We want to get to 20 before Max draws to a point where he's got all the answers. And I kind of have to respect that, but I also understand that being kind of a difficult decision to be had as well.
Oh, 100%. I think I'm questing hard. I don't know if I'm going to commit more cards to the board because I know that my opponent can get into this be prepared next turn. They don't have it now, but I've been smoked off a top deck more times than I care to admit. And it looks like you're thinking about inking this friend. So the decisions are tough, and you are going to shift here. You will
Wow.
shift into the top deck, be prepared. You know they're going to get it. They
That's
always
tough.
get it. As you will get another card here on the Diablo trigger. They might not have gotten it. So it looks like you will be living to fight another day. However, you do have that Brawl that you've been hanging on
Yeah.
to quite vigorously, and it will now be deployed to clear that Diablo after one draw. And you're fine with that. You get a draw. You take a bunch of your opponent's tempo in the process. You don't hate that, but you will go ahead and redeploy that rabbit to gain another card.
This rabbit is such a problem. I mean, we're looking at I think it's how many are we at? Like three cards drawn from that rabbit at this point. I mean, just the value of that rabbit, and we don't even know if it's the only one at this point because of the draw that happens. But man, rabbit is such a problem. Oh, okay.
So the Ursula is there, and you have another snake. So that's another draw that's going to come back in from this rabbit. You hate to see it. Oh my goodness, this rabbit's about to get at least 2 more cards before it's all said and done, and another quest in the process. So this might be the time. We got a lot of meat left on this bone, man. This game is far from over.
Here we go. Okay, second genie. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: the Elsa cannot take out either of those. So you may as well just take advantage, get that lore generation going before we draw into a be prepared. Get as much value from these cards before the problem presents itself.
And keep in mind, and also keep in mind, Max is also playing Big Sisu as well. That card is in the deck, and if you can get up to that 8, which you just slammed down to 8 by inking that snake, he's coming.
Oh, he got it. He got it. No, top deck.
Sisu off the tizzy. Hate to see it, as you lost a tremendous amount of value from that rough. Sisu coming on in off the tippity tizzy.
That was so tough.
I hate to see it if you are Keith. Loving it if you're Max. We'll chill here. Clear out the Elsa. And what do you do in the face of this 3 questing menace on the other side? You thought Sisu was done. Well, guess what? Sisu's back again. And that is just how it's going to be.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're both on running unlimited resources here. You've got 2 cards, one of which is likely going to become, so we're playing that. Do we ink this last card? Do we hold on to it?
Is that last card Bruno? I think is that Bruno in the hand? Oh no, that's
Ursula.
Okay.
So deciding whether we ink or and so we're saying we're going to hold on to it.
Yeah,
We're gonna
I
hold on
don't
to
hate it.
it.
I think you gotta. I think you gotta just play. I think now we're in deep water though. So now I think at this point the corner has been turned, and this is
Yeah,
where you get to that point. Just like we saw in game number 2, I just don't think you can come back from this now. It's just kind of going to continue to get out of reach because that Ruby
yeah,
Amethyst top deck power is stronger than your top decks are cheeks. Their top decks are cash mega millionaire money off the top. As you saw, that Sisu was huge. You got Maui's coming in, are huge. Elsers are coming in. Rabbits and all kinds of cool cards are coming in. And you're top decking and hypnotized. Like, who cares? But that Bruno off the
that
tizzy is
Bruno.
actually quite
Oh,
great.
did you see that second
Oh,
card in Max's hand? Did you
it
see it?
is.
It's a be prepared.
It
So let's see
is.
which one. Oh, which one did you get? Are you gonna show it? Be
Oh, it
prepared.
got to be prepared. So you gotta that was a gamble. And
Yeah.
now if you could have waited to hit Ursula and Bruno in the same turn, you would have been
That
cash
yes.
money moving.
Yeah.
But now you just get mega punished by a double Sisuing, and you're about to lose this Peter Pan Shadow Finder, and that
Yeah.
is not going to feel good. And this game
No, that
just
was
might
rough.
be too much.
Yeah, that
You
was
got to
not the
gamble.
way you have
Mm.
to. Yeah, you wanted that be prepared to stick around, and not the Sisu that is now back and wet, so it cannot even tap
Yeah.
yet. But it also means it can't be attacked. And
And
yeah, we're just throwing cards down the table.
keep spamming characters to the board and continuing to vibrate magnificently. You can't quest this Sisu if you want. Top deck Crab could be cool. You can send your Ursula and your Diablo into this Sisu. You have to clear the Sisu. As Medusa
Ooh,
says, never mind. We'll just go ahead and just banish your Ursula off the top. Send out the saddest, most feeble Diablo I think I've ever seen. Yeah, I hate to see that guy in this spot,
yeah,
as this is
yeah.
he's a little too little, little too late.
Yeah, the cooking is almost complete. The baking is almost done as the cake is about to get called here, and this cake was full of sisu and
Mm.
rabbits and a Medusa. This
And
is gonna
that's
be
how it
rough.
and that is how it goes. And I thought by that early game with that Iago was doing the thing, getting loose and active. I thought that you're going to be on your way, but apparently it took just too long. These top decks are just so fierce. You just cannot handle what is happening off the top of this deck as you've climbed all the way up to a nice Hardy 16 and Ruby Amethyst will move on to the top
Yep.
4 and tries to engage with all of the Emerald Steel that will be waiting in the wings to see who's going to be the winner of this enchanted Elsa. This game is over as the handshake is extended. This sportsmanship all around. And that is going to be a GG. Let's go. So, man,
Wow.
whew,
What a match.
what a match.
You know, you're not wrong when you said earlier that, like these other matchups, they just create these scenarios where they're just kind of, it's like just two giants just battling each other. It's it
Yeah.
just watching these fight. That was the vibe I got just there. It was just like this hard fought battle between both of them. They both, granted, only one could win, but they both should be very proud of themselves about how they played that out. It was down to the wire. Many people pointing out that it was essentially a coin flip on that Bruno. Had we
Hmm.
plucked the Sisu rather than the Be Prepared, that might have been an entirely different game because
Absolutely.
they both would have had to have started over at just like the ground zero situation, no characters, nothing on board. But that is not what we got. That is not the. Why are you throwing things,
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. No,
JC?
it's my chair. I just rolled over. I just rolled over
Oh, okay.
a little bit of debris I have on my floor there. But
Yeah,
I
just be
think it was
careful.
great. I love maybe I'm biased. I'm a fan of this Amethyst metagame that we find ourselves because it's just slug. They're just slugging it out.
Yeah,
I love a little top deck battle. I do like the position that you put yourselves in with your deck building creativity. We saw, and I did mention that Max just so happened to have all the right cards, all the right tools of the trade. That comes in the deck editor. You put those cards in your deck, and they came through for you because you diagnosed the metagame, you understood what your threat was going to be, you understood what decks you're going to possibly face off against, and having that work out for you is great.
yeah,
You could have been playing against Diggy Diggy Hole all day, and you're out of there 0-2, 0-3, whatever. You're cooked because your deck is not going to be well suited to play against those. But you got to roll the dice. You got to gamble a little bit, and it worked out for you, and it's going to put you into the final 4.